Hello, I'm Helena. I'm working with a team of volunteers researching the lives of the men, women and children who worked in the domestic rural industries in the Chilterns, and not surprisingly one of those is chair making. Chair making, as all the local people will know, has been around in the Chilterns at least since the 17th century, but it became a very important industry from the 19th century and was second only to London in its importance in chair making. And then up to the 1950s and beyond, many local people were employed in the industry, which had really grown into a whole huge furniture industry in High Wycombe. The men tended to make the wooden parts of the chairs, and the women and girls did the caning and the rushing. Caning chairs using rattan cane for the seats and backs, and rushes for the seats. And in this photograph you can see a bedroom chair with a cane seat from about 1870. In this picture you can see women and children in the village of Freeth in South Buckinghamshire in about 1900, and they're carrying chairs for rushing. You can see the rush seats. That was quite a dirty and smelly job because the rushes were dusty and they were often wet, so they got a rather nasty smell. So local historian Simon Keynes, who's done lots of volunteering for Woodlanders, has done including lots of research about women's working conditions in the chair industry. They tended originally to work in their own homes, and they did what we call piecework, which was they were paid by the chair, by the chair that they caned or that they rushed. In 1912, Mr. Lord, a furniture manufactory, paid the women between 12 and 15 shillings a week. That's about £20 in today's money. You can see this 96-year-old woman who's working at home as a caner. In the 1890s, two fashionable magazines wrote interesting descriptions of chair caning in South Bucks. The first is Hearth and Home, and the article talks about the caners' smart dress, their rosy cheeks and their cheerful comings and goings on summer evenings, perhaps romanticising their lives a little bit. Queen magazine reports that the caners were fairly well paid and some sang at their work. And the article says, some of their ballads are more graphic than ever. In the late 1950s, John Mays, the Wycombe historian, this is historian of the chair industry, recorded Mrs. Barlow and Mrs. Stone singing the Wycombe Chair Caners' Song. The song warns men against taking on pretty girls because they would only break your heart. In the song, the young man met a caning girl in High Wycombe with a bundle of cane under her arm, probably taking the cane home to work with. Mrs. Barlow had herself been a caning girl, and she said that her hubby used to sing this sweet song to her. While you're listening, you can see a photograph of Mendy Street in about 1960 with factories at the far end.
In the middle of Mendy Street, a charming girl I met. She'd deep blue eyes and golden hair. Her voice was soft and sweet. She blushed at me, then looked away, but never did she mind. For underneath her arm she had a small bundle of cane. I nearly broke my heart, never wished to see her again. That blue-eyed girl with her hair in curl I met with a bundle of cane. And then we did agree to meet again on Thomas Hill, to talk of happy moments past and sweeter memories still, and talk of happy days in store which made a sudden stop. Would you condescend to marry a girl who works in a caning shop? I nearly broke my heart, never wished to see her again. That blue-eyed girl with her hair in curl I met with a bundle of cane. Now all young men take my advice when to Wycombe careful how you go. Don't talk to pretty caning girls, or else they'll serve you so. They'll steal away your hearts, my boys, and now they will be true. Then with those blooming polishers, they'll bolt away from you. I nearly broke my heart, never wish to see her again. That blue-eyed girl with her hair in curl, I met with a bundle of hay.
Later on, after a strike, the women's wages rose a bit, and it was more usual by this time for women to work in factories. They worked in good, clean and pleasant environments, as you can see in this photograph taken in about 1935 of the caning girls working in the birch factory in High Wycombe.